Hey there, Falcon fans, it's Stickster, and I wanted to show you something that is a little bit different than some of the other videos I've done. Most of you know that Falcon is more or less a modular synthesizer. All the components are included that you get to hook up pretty much in any order that you want. It's like having boutique and elementary modules together, and you can basically come up with just about anything your heart desires. I was searching around the other day for some inspiration, and for whatever reason, it just wasn't coming to me. And so I just started playing around, and I decided to see what was one of the most elementary things that I could do to create that inspiration, something that would let me kind of compose some chord changes within a mode, but something that would give me the spark that I needed for a track. And so I just started playing around with pretty much one of the easiest sound sources you can use, which is a sine wave. Now, what you're going to notice here, I'm going to tour you through this patch I created and build it up as we go. But you can see I started with a wavetable instead of the analog sine. That's because the wavetable gives you access to all of these alternate sines that you can use. So I'm using the CS70 sine here. Just so you know, this is the sine. Now I'm running it through a couple things. I'll turn these off so you can get just the standard sound by itself. And you'll notice that I have, on the key group, I've already applied a random modulator here for the pan, so the sound will jump back and forth. There's a reason for that. You'll hear it later. All right, so there we go, easy enough. And then all I've done is I just added an exciter, a drive, and some analog crunch just to give it a little hair. All right, pretty cool. So the next thing that I decided to do was to give myself an arpeggiator to play with. And so I'm using the ostinato arp, and you'll notice that I've got a few different settings here. So I'm using 3 elements in the arp. So there's a 16th note arpeggiator that is very, very low intensity. I have a half note generator that is a little bit higher intensity. And also you'll notice that the hits and steps here are somewhat random. I like to throw in some odd numbers, and so it lessens the chance that you're going to pick out patterns. It just makes the output a little bit more interesting in the finished product. And then I'm randomizing some direction and pan for the different elements. Also, I've got a very slow, there's a third element here of whole note. And really, I'm just using a length of 4 here. There's a reason for that, so that when I do these chord voicings, only the lower notes are going to come through, and they'll be repeated only at a whole note type instance. And there's really only about a 3% probability they'll come through, just to give the chord a little bit of extra definition when those bass notes kick in. And that is the highest intensity that I'm using on those whole notes. And I'm also randomizing some of the accents, octave. I'm just, again, lowering those bass notes every once in a while, so you'll get an accent that is just a little bit lower than the rest of the chord. All right, which is great. So then for example, if I give you just a D minor 7 here, this is just a first inversion D minor 7 with a root and a fifth below the chord. Okay, easy enough. Clearly, that's very easy to understand. No big deal there. The thing that I decided to do, though, was to play around with some instant chord voicing. So I'm using a combination of 2 script processors here. So I'm using the Chord processor, and this is from the Falcon Punch library. If you're not familiar with it, you can check my other video about Falcon Punch. I'll leave a link up to the top right, and you can check that video out. And so this basically just lets me experiment with different chords and decide how I want to voice the arpeggiator. So I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to choose a minor mode, and I'm going to change the voicing to something that's kind of a little more dense. that seems like that might do the trick right around here, something like that. There we go. And you'll notice that the voicing is starting in the key of C. So this is a C minor that you see here. Well, of course, I might not want to play in C minor. So what I can do then is attach another script processor. Again, Falcon's modular. So I've attached another script processor here. And what I've done in this in this version here is I'm choosing the key of D. I can choose minor Aeolian, and that's what you see here. So starting with D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C. And so what that does is it's going to filter the voicings of the chords. So whatever key I hit now on my keyboard, and I'm going to open up the mapping down here so that you can see what I'm doing on the keyboard. If I hit a D, now you're going to be hearing the voicing from the chord bank, right? So that's a root, a fifth, the minor. So this would be a minor 10th. Taking it from this octave, it would be the minor third. Another fifth. There's our minor 7th. Again, root and a minor third. And so that's what you're hearing through the Arpeggiator now. And if I choose a different key, again, if you look down here, you'll see what I'm doing. I'm going to choose the F key on my keyboard. Notice how it stays in the mode. If I choose G, and I'm going to go down to B flat. And I'll choose A, and back up to D. So very pleasing. So just gives you maybe a bed for something. I've already set up a maximizer up here. I also have an effect rack. This is just using. I can navigate into it so you can see what I'm doing here. There's just a dry. There's a dual delay, and then I have another effect rack that is a diffuse delay through an EQ. And now you're going to get something hopefully very pleasing at the end of it. I'm just going to hold down my my D key, the D3 here. Oops, I should turn on that effect rack first. There we go. And if I don't like that voicing, of course, I can play around with it. Maybe I'll find something that's, something a little more dense here. All right, so basically this is just a way to use some of these scripts in an interesting way to give you results that are maybe a little unexpected and something that might spark a little inspiration. So again, just a very simple tone, run through some of these modules, run through, again, the ostinato arp to give us our notes. And then running through two script processors, the first of them, a chord voicing, and then second, a filter that gives us just the scale that we want, the nearest notes, and that way we get something that is going to be in the mode that we select. And I hope that this gives you some ideas, something you can play with in your own compositions. And if you come up with something great, I hope you'll share it with the world, because that's what being creative is all about, is sharing what you do. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name's Stixter, and I hope you have a lot of fun with Falcon, and I will see you next time.